Hey everybody, so today I am talking about Cotton Carrier's G3 camera harness. This is one of my favorite pieces of gear. It is basically crucial to what I do, and it's also the piece of gear that I get the most requests to talk about, and so I thought, why not do it today? So if you don't know, this is a full-on harness, goes around your whole top half so that you have your camera right in the center, super easy to access. You don't even have to think about it. Why I love this piece of gear is because almost all of my wildlife photography comes from hard to access places. I incorporate mountaineering, I incorporate a lot of scrambling, and just challenging trekking where I like to make wildlife photos. And with wildlife photography, you need that immediate access. And so there's all kinds of systems to backpack in a lot of photography gear, go hiking with a lot of photography gear, but none of them have that real immediate access, especially where like my setup with a 500mm lens is concerned. There's things like capture clips, little pieces that go on your strap of your backpack, but that's not going to work with a lens like this. And so that's where this really shines. This is a really unique piece. And so let's kind of just dive right in, I guess. I have probably backpacked over 1,000 miles with this. I have used it constantly for over 4 years. And so when I talk about the fit of this, when I talk about the comfort, know that this has been worn in and it's kind of shaped to my body at this point. And so there is a big break-in process for these. I would say if you're gonna hike with it 100 miles and you'll start breaking it in really well. So let's go over the basics. It's pretty heavy. I think it's probably about 1 pound, maybe a little bit over. It's got pretty burly nylon fabric. It feels like nylon, and it's not very breathable, but it really is super durable. It has this back pocket kind of thing. I wouldn't ever use that. I never have really seriously used it to hold anything, but what it does hold is the extra material for the shoulder straps, because these guys are adjustable. It has a little pocket right here. I wouldn't really put much in it. It'll slip out in my experience. And then there's a little pocket on the inside of the chest panel. Once in a while I'll put a memory card there, but if you sweat, you're gonna get whatever's in there wet. So let's talk about the fit. This is one of those items that was really clearly made for men. And so I think it's important to just say that immediately. This is so unflattering on a woman's body, and it's not very comfortable either. It goes right between your boobs. If you have a larger chest, it really squishes your boobs and cuts them off and is just not ideal. So that's how that looks. And yeah, it's no good, but there's not another piece of equipment that does what this does. So I think it's a fair trade-off, I guess, if they couldn't design something more flattering and comfortable. So this is designed for men, and I think it's designed for like all sizes. And so when you first get your G3 harness, it's probably gonna have a ton of extra webbing. That's what you pull on to tighten it. It's this material. So what I did, and what I suggest everyone does, is make it be your size and then pull out about 2 extra inches of slack and then cut the rest off, kind of tie it in a knot and burn the edges so it doesn't fray. That way you don't have like a foot of extra strapping and for no reason, just blowing in the wind. You don't need that. So it's perfectly fine to modify your harness. And then as you break it in, it really fits super nice, and you kind of just put it on and you don't even have to think about tightening it up usually. And it's nice to have a custom fit. Not a lot of products allow that, and this one does. Okay, so this is the basic harness. They do come with like a little rain fly. I don't recommend it. It doesn't work well. Use like a dry bag. I think I use a Big Agnes, just regular dry bag, and kind of put it over the whole camera body and lens and roll it up and cinch it, and it does a perfect job. Okay, so this is the cotton carrier mount, and then this is the leash, so that if you would be actively shooting and you drop your camera, it would be on a leash and it wouldn't hit the ground. This is the mounting system on the camera body. I've seen people put it on the foot, and I've put it on the foot, but I don't like it. When it's there, I feel like the inversion kind of like bends the camera too much, and it makes me super uncomfortable. I'm a lot more comfortable having it from that camera body. So what you're gonna do is hold your camera horizontal and kind of just slip it down that way, and then rotate it, and then it locks. It won't go anywhere. And then never ever forget to do the leash. This buckle underneath is to hold the lens in place so that it doesn't move, so you're not gonna snap any pins or have any disconnection. As you can see, this comes down on me to just at hip height, so it can really limit range of motion, which is not good if you are doing anything technical at all. And so what I tend to do is just turn it so it sits right about on my hip bone, and then buckle it in place there and tighten it. And that is how it goes, because then I at least have one side of my body that has completely free range of motion, and I just kind of taught myself how to work around this situation. So this is how it fits. You can see like how you want a backpack to fit really nice along your body. It's kind of the same in the front with this. One of the main questions I get is, does it move around a lot? And the answer is no. If it did, I wouldn't love it like I do. Does not really move around. And that can be said for scrambles. I usually am backpacking with it when I'm like really putting it through the test of what I do. I put like a 70-pound, 60-pound backpack on, and I mean, this handles that. There's a lot of rubbing. Generally speaking, there's a lot of material. Figure there is the back of a bra, back of a shirt, this back, that's 2 layers of different fabric, plus crisscrossing adjustable back straps. Plus then you have bra straps, shirt, cotton carrier straps, backpack straps. So it gets to be a lot, but there's nothing else that's gonna give you what a cotton carrier harness gives you as far as freedom to move around, freedom to not worry that something's going to break. It really is super secure, and it's easy to be really mobile with it. I think some of my weirdest times on class 3+ terrain have been with this system on me, plus a backpack. And I was able to kind of execute some dynamic moves without even having to think twice about it, because I just know that my camera is gonna be locked and loaded and so close to my body. And there is a bit of give for how far you can turn this before it's gonna lose the effective angle of keeping it locked. You probably to right here, then it can start to slip a little bit, but you would probably feel that. But so all I'm saying is you can do all kinds of maneuvering, and as long as the lens is strapped down, nothing is gonna happen to the camera. I have taken some really like not okay falls while I have this attached to me. And again, it's always kind of saved itself because it's so tight on my body and really doesn't move. So if this is something that you have considered getting for yourself and you're a really active shooter, I think that it's worth the investment. I don't actually know what these cost at the moment. When I got it, it was like $99, I think. It has more than paid for itself, probably 100 times over. I have another one in the gray color that Cotton actually sent me, and I don't like it as much because I don't want to spend the time breaking it in. So I really suggest when you get your harness that you take some time to break it in, because otherwise you're going to think it's really uncomfortable, and it is really uncomfortable, but after you use it a lot, it gets a lot more comfortable. And so you could even sit when you first get it and kind of just massage and bend all of this different material. There's a lot of like plastic mesh, and when you first get that, it's going to be incredibly stiff. And so the more you can kind of work with it and heat it up a little bit with friction, that's going to kind of break down that stiffness, and eventually it will fit you really nice. Like I said, I am a big believer in making things fit. So I probably cut 2 feet off of this webbing, and then I just singed the edges so that they don't unravel. And that has been totally nice. I do that with backpacks too. Any gear that you're for sure gonna keep, cut to your size, make it custom. You'll like it better. This side, I left quite a bit of extra material, but probably 4 inches total. But on this side, I cut it how I wanted it and tied it off and then burnt the end. And that's so that it's always pretty much set to my size, and all I ever really have to do is tighten it up a little bit once in a while. This does have this little Velcro piece. Cotton makes an attachment that goes over this to hold another camera. They also sell this as like a 2-camera G3 harness bundle. That might work for men, or if you have a really small chest, that might work. But it doesn't work for me, and I have tried to use that multiple times. So here's what happens. It's like right on your boob. And so then you have this piece that's like this, and basically you end up with a whole camera body in your armpit because it can't sit like right because of your boob that's getting squeezed out the side of the cotton carrier. So the piece that they sell, this attachment piece, that is a really nice thing. And what I recommend if you need to be shooting with 2 bodies is to wear the harness, have your camera, and then have a backpack and attach the little cotton thing to the hip belt of that backpack. It's a lot more natural also to shoot from here and then reach down, as opposed to reaching kind of at a really weird angle that you then have to twist out of. So yeah, there isn't a whole lot else to really say about this guy. Any of the negatives I can say about it, and there are a handful of them, you know, it's weird how it fits. It's weird that they didn't come up with a different solution for boobs. For sure, that's like a lot of negative points there, but it's such a super nice piece of gear. It's such a like problem solver, that any negative is like worth it. I do really love it. And I've also, I guess, worn it in helicopters. If you're ever in an open door helicopter, you have to secure everything to you basically. And so if you're doing something like that, this is awesome. It has multiple metal attachment points, And then it has this loop here too. And so it does have really practical uses. It isn't cute, and it's like pretty goofy and pretty niche, but if you need something like this, I can't even tell you how awesome it is to have something like this. And until recently, this didn't even exist. So Cotton Carrier really did a service by inventing these. So yeah, I couldn't do what I do as easily without this. And I highly recommend it to anyone who's kind of getting after it. For a lot of folks, I think probably for most folks, it's overkill. You don't need anything even remotely like this, it's fine. But again, if you are someone who's really getting after it, who's really being active in your photography, this is really a game changer. It makes access so easy. It keeps your camera super safe, super solidly on your person. So yeah, this is one of my favorite things. And the more you use it, the more comfortable it gets. And I think that's all I got. Have a good one, guys.